Good evening and welcome to another episode of Goober Pasta. Did you ever watch scrambled pornography? The softcore kind on Cinemax? Well, if you did, then you will find this next tale quite spooky indeed.
3 a.m. It was 3 a.m., and for the fourth night in a row, I was staring out my window. I'd been woken up abruptly by the same nightmare. It always started out the same. I was in a trailer, and I was wearing a robe, and a production assistant was knocking on the door telling me I had 10 minutes to return to set. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what she was talking about. So I grabbed my utensils and I went to set. And it was all lit up very brightly over a bed. And then all of a sudden some woman walks in. She was not my wife. I had no idea who this woman was. And she begins to disrobe. I start screaming because I'm a good Christian man, and I don't see anybody else naked, not even my own wife. I was screaming and screaming, and they kept saying, Mike, you have to do this, Mike. Mike, you have to do this. No! I would scream. That's when I would usually wake up after I screamed no. My wife was right beside me. She had heard me wrestling around in bed and woke up. What's the matter, honey? Did you have that awful dream again? Yeah, I did. I don't know what to make of it. This is the fourth night in a row I've had that awful dream that I was on some kind of movie set. What else happened in your dream, baby? I don't know. It's all so jumbled. I know that every time I looked in the mirror, it was my face, but it was so much different. I had a gigantic mustache and curly hair. I've never had curly hair in my life. It's all just so weird. I'll try to get some sleep, baby. Okay, hon. I rolled over and tried to lay there. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just lay there till it was time for me to get up at 7 a.m. We are a good Christian family. The Ron Johnsons. My kids, even though they're quite ugly, did very well in school. Kathy and Barbara, they were all shot putters for the local high school track team. Big burly women, kind that go out chop wood on the weekends and beat your ass a second later. Sorry, I'm not supposed to use those words. I'm a good Christian man. You see, my wife and I only made it twice, and that was to produce our children. Other than that, it was ungodly, and we were just to sit there and watch good, wholesome Christian TV like Hallmark Channel and Spike TV for Men. Good, wholesome Christian programming. I worked at a local manufacturer. We manufactured bathtubs, and I worked as an accountant in the office. When I wasn't working as an accountant at the office, I was at church. My family went to church 4 to 5 times a week. But still, in spite of this good, wholesome life we lived, I always felt like something was wrong. Anyway, I didn't know what I was going to do about these dreams. As I drove home from work that day, I realized that I was probably going to have another one of those awful, awful dreams. So, I did what any good Christian man did, and I prayed to God. I prayed to God profusely that He would take away these awful dreams I was having. As I walked through the door, my beautiful wife and my ugly kids were sitting there. My oldest, LaBarbara, she goes, Hey, Dad, I set a school record at shot put today. Oh, that's great, dear. How about you, other kid, whose name I've already forgotten? Oh, Dad, you're so great. I got asked out by all the boys, but it was a cruel joke. Well, did you pray to God about it? I did. God said they were just a bunch of punk bitches and He would smite them. Oh, that's very good to hear, dear. Let's all sit down for dinner. We have to go to church tonight. Oh, Dad, do we have to go to church? Yes, we do have to go to church, because that is all we do in this house is we go to church. So we went to church. I was in the middle of my 9th prayer, and all of a sudden I had a horrible, horrible thought come over me. I thought about shaving off my beard and growing a mustache. How could I ever think about doing such an unchristian-like thing as growing a Satan stash? Still, the thought was there. I just knew I had to pray harder. I knew that night was going to be terrible. So we went to bed at the normal time of 8 p.m. The lights were off and we'd drawn the curtain shut so the sun couldn't shine in. I was fast asleep. All of a sudden, I was in this movie set and everything felt so real and they were calling me to the set. Mike, you gotta come to set. My name's not Mike, I kept shouting. Come on, Mike. They then shoved a big batch of cocaine in my face and I sniffed it. But this time, I could feel it. I was high off the devil's snow, and it was awful. So I went to set, and there it was, a naked lady in bed. She wasn't my wife, and I knew I wasn't supposed to be seeing this, but all of a sudden I had this stark realization. I don't care. This is great. This is awesome, and I'm enjoying every second of it. I then saw the mirror again, and there I was, buck naked, but I looked really, really good. Somehow, I traded in my fat Christian body for this wonderful, muscular, toned, cut Satan body. I knew this was all wrong, but a part of me didn't care. I was going to have to pay for this. I was going to have to repent for this. All of a sudden, I look over. They're like, all right, let's begin production on Tap Out 6, The Butt Touch. That's when I realized I was in a Cinemax porn. But how? How did I ever get into such an awful thing? That's when I realized. When I was 6 years old, I had stayed up really late one night, and I was flipping through all the blocked channels. 99 channels all blocked out except the Christian Broadcasting Network. That's when I came upon it. Scrambled Cinemax pornography. It wasn't very good, but I could see real-life naked ladies on TV, and I was intrigued. I watched for 10 seconds. That's when I realized I was being punished for all this, and in fact, I wasn't alive anymore. I was in hell, and my hell was to enjoy this dream that I had every night while waking up to my homely, stupid family and going to my stupid job. Oh God, I screamed in horror. Oh God! Then the music started playing. Bounce, 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 wow, wow, bounce, 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 wow, wow, wow. Well, I guess I better give a good...
Well, it would appear that you shouldn't watch scrambled pornography, or you're gonna be taken away from your homely family. That was another spooky story. And this has been Goober Pasta.